This is a KSLA First Alert Weather Day.
Well, back with you again. I am KSLA Chief Meteorologist Matt Jones. We had about a 2-minute break in the tornado warnings, and another one has just been issued. So at this point, we're just going to stick with you for a while because this line is still pretty dangerous, and we have a new little circulation that is developing, and that's just been the case here for the last hour or so as we're watching these brief tornadic circulations developing along the leading edge of a much bigger squall line here. And it's areas like this. And notice how it's kind of a smooth line. Then you get this little area that kind of juts out right there. There's another one right there. That is where there is a circulation. And I do believe the National Weather Service here is watching. Let me pull up their chat here. Just bear with me for 1 second. I do believe that they're watching this area. Actually, this tornado warning is pretty large here. So this does include Lafayette County and Southwest. So this extends actually all the way up into Southwest Arkansas, Lafayette County in Southwestern Arkansas, Columbia County also in Southwest Arkansas, Webster Parish and Bossier Parish. So kind of a larger tornado warning here. Basically, they're kind of covering the ground. They're covering this entire line as it pushes off to the east. So there are a few areas of concern that I have. And let's actually zoom into a few of these spots here. So there's one little circulation right there. You can really make that out. So you can see how the storm kind of rotates around. So what we're dealing with right now is we have that warm kind of inflow, that warm humid air circulating into the storm like that. On the back side of it, you got that rain-cooled air, and right where you have that interface, where you have the winds coming in like this and winds wrapping around the backside of that storm, right there, that is where you're going to have that potential circulation. Let's take a look at the velocity, and indeed, that is where we do have a little bit of a circulation. So what you want to look for here are the reds and the greens, what we call a couplet, very close to each other, and that is where we are seeing some potential circulation. So let's look at a few different radar sites here. There's a few different products that we can use to look at the circulation, but again, if there is anything developing, it would probably be right here. So just to kind of give you a frame of reference, there's Arthur Teague Parkway right there. There's East Kings Highway. So this is moving out of the more populated areas, moving here right along, let's see, Louisiana 157. That's the road that is crossing over right now, Sligo Road. But again, there could be a potential tornadic circulation developing right here. So let's zoom in just a little bit tighter. And again, Louisiana 527 could be in the path. Let's look at the wind speeds with this storm too. Let's see what they could be. So our Doppler radar is indicating that even if you're not underneath a potential tornado, still talking about straight line winds up to about 60 to 70 miles an hour. So that certainly could be enough to cause some damage in itself. And I was just checking SWEPCO when we had that 2-minute break in tornado warnings. I just was able to check SWEPCO at least from about 5 minutes ago. It looks like about 36,000 are without power now. I know I'm without power. We're without power back at my house too. So a lot of folks are without power now. And again, this is turning into be a pretty dangerous night across much of the area. Here's a little something coming from the National Weather Service chat. They are saying QLCS rotations. So that's a fancy word, meaning that we're seeing these little tornadic circulations along the leading edge of that much bigger line of storm. So let's see if we have any other circulations showing up. And there might be one near Cotton Valley here. You see a little bit of a potential circulation there. Also, maybe up into Southwest Arkansas. Yeah, CJ.
There has now been issued a tornado warning for Nacogdoches County and Rusk County in East Texas.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. So if you heard CJ, and CJ's mic up? Yeah? Okay. Yeah, it looks like there's now another tornado warning for Nacogdoches County and Rusk County in Texas. So now our southwestern areas are getting in on the act as well. So it is just turning into a very active, incredibly active evening, unfortunately. We were hoping this wouldn't pan out, but when that sun came out earlier today and it's starting to warm up, I was definitely getting worried about that. So let's go to the normal radar picture again. And this is that's the nasty line of storm. So you can see this is the whole line that we're talking about. And basically anywhere along this, treat this whole line of storms like one big tornado warning. Anywhere along the leading edge of this line, maybe down there's a little area right there. There's maybe a little area there near Ida. Anywhere along this line of storms, there could be brief tornadoes spinning up. And even if you don't have a tornado with this line, there could definitely be some damaging winds. We're talking wind gusts maybe 60 to potentially 80 miles an hour with this line of storm. So let's actually kind of take a trip down here. So this is the new tornado warning. Let me double check here and see exactly where this is. Let's see. All right, so that's the new tornado warning that we have right now. That does include the city of Nacogdoches here, at least the western side. And so the northwestern corner of Nacogdoches County in southwestern portions of our viewing area. This has just crossed out of East Texas and now pushing closer to Nacogdoches. So let's take a closer look at this one and see what is going on here. and it is for this cell right here. So let's go to a different radar site here. So that's the velocity we're looking at, but let's actually go to the reflectivity. So this is the normal radar picture that you're used to seeing, and it looks like it's for this storm right here. You can kind of see not so much of a defined hook echo, but there definitely could be some circulation there just off to the north and west of Nacogdoches. So let's look at the velocity on this one, and there is some broad rotation showing up, and you can see definitely, and again, a lot of times it's tough to make out the rotation with these storms because you have to be a certain distance away from the radar site. All right, so on more details on this tornado warning for Nacogdoches County. It looks like at 7:40 p.m., a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado is located near Douglas or 14 miles west of Nacogdoches, moving to the northeast at 40 miles an hour. So we're talking about the potential for tornado and quarter-size hail with this. And this particular tornado warning here for Nacogdoches County is in effect until about 8:15 this evening. So that's the one the National Weather Service is talking about there. They're also talking about how the outflow boundary is beginning to outrun the leading edge of the bow echo. And so, so it looks like the tornado threat along that leading edge of that big line might be decreasing slightly, but we're going to stick with you because these storms have kind of been, they weaken briefly, then they kind of pulse up again. So it has just been one of those situations where we keep getting these tornado warnings. And I keep trying to go back to our normal programming here, folks, but we keep getting these warnings, so we're going to stick with you here, trying to keep you first alert and ahead of these very dangerous storms as they push into the Arklatex. So let's take a look at our reflectivity once again. And you can see that, let's see here, maybe gives a better picture. So I'm going to zoom out just a bit. And again, I'm doing this on the fly, so just bear with me here. We got a lot of different tools at our disposal that we can use and maybe get a better picture. But I think the worst part of the storm here in Nacogdoches County is going to be just off to the west of Nacogdoches. And the National Weather Service is saying that they're seeing some sort of rotation here just off to the west of Nacogdoches. And this particular storm is moving to the east. Actually, I believe it's east at 40 miles an hour. Let me double check. Northeast at 40 miles an hour. And there's the area of rotation right there. You can kind of make it out. I mean, it's not the strongest rotation I've ever seen, but you can certainly make out some sort of green and red couplets showing up here. And let me pull up a different radar source. I have a radar on my phone as well to kind of show you what's going on. So let's see here. Don't see a circulation too much on my radar app either, but the National Weather Service is definitely concerned enough that they are seeing that. All right, so that's one tornado warning that we have. Let me go back to let's go back to the normal radar here, kind of reset ourselves. So if you're just tuning in right now, we actually have 2 active tornado warnings currently for the Arklatex. So let's zoom in a little bit wider, kind of give you the wide picture of what's going on. And this is not just for some localized part of the Arklatex. This now extends from Texarkana on the northern end all the way through Shreveport and then all the way down towards Nacogdoches. Notice how this is kind of turning into a huge line, a big squall line, and this is likely going to impact every portion of the Arklatex tonight. The only place that might escape much severe weather is along and north of I-30, so we'll keep an eye on that. But again, most of the Arklatex going to be dealing with some severe weather tonight, and this will likely make its way all the way into our eastern parishes, and even if you're watching down in Natchitoches, you will likely be impacted later on tonight as well. So let's look at the warnings that we have. I'm going to kind of remove some of the clutter here so you can just see strictly the warnings that we're talking about. And what we got going on here, you see this large area of kind of that tan color, that is the severe thunderstorm warning. That's a huge severe warning, and that's all because of those damaging winds. So the severe thunderstorm warning right now includes a lot of our parishes here and some of our counties in southern Arkansas. That's the outlined box that you see right there. So that's covering the entire squall line. And so if you're in the severe thunderstorm warning zone, that's where we're going to see maybe 60 to 70, 80 mile an hour winds. You see that smaller box right there, that is actually where we now have the tornado warning. So let's zoom into that particular location. And you can see moving into Lafayette County there into southern portions of Arkansas. So Lafayette County and the southwest part of Columbia County, also extreme northern portions of Bossier Parish as well. But this is now crossing over the state line and into southwest Arkansas. So let's go back to our normal radar. And so what the National Weather Service is watching here is this line that's bowing forward. So you can see right here, the line kind of wraps back to the west, and there is some sort of circulation, maybe a couple circulations there, probably just to the west of Spring Hill. But let's take a look at our velocity once again and see if we do see anything there. Really tough to make out on our velocity, but let's just look at a couple things here. Yeah, I mean, if there is a circulation, if there is some sort of circulation, you can kind of make it out right there. What you want to look for are the greens and the reds very close to one another. So another way to look at this, I'll kind of, maybe this will explain things better. So the green is towards the radar. Now the radar site is in Shreveport. So the green color is wind blowing towards the radar site. The reds, those are winds blowing away from the radar site. So you can kind of make out that there is definitely a circulation right about there. And that is what the National Weather Service is also keeping a very close eye on right now. No confirmation, as I've seen, of any tornadoes. Actually, no confirmation of tornadoes on the ground. But again, these are Doppler indicated. So there's been enough, there's been enough on the radar that the National Weather Service has decided to go ahead and keep issuing these tornado warnings. But again, what was that? Okay, let's take a look at the power outages I believe we have. Yeah, thank you guys. And how many is that? I can't see the edge of the thing there. How many outages are we talking?
Yes, Matt, thank you for your update. We're taking a live look at our SWEPCO outages right now. We have over 26,000 outages in Bossier Parish and over 1,000 customers. Actually, that's 26,000 in Caddo Parish, and over 1,000 customer outages have been reported across Bossier Parish. Right now, we're taking a live look at our SWEPCO map across the Arklatex. Since I last updated you, I apologize, that number has changed. So in total across from the Arklatex, we have 48,344 reported customer outages from our SWEPCO map right now. Now, as you guys can see across the map, if we go into Caddo Parish, we're going to have a closer look at the outages there. We have 32,000 reported outages there. Right now, 32,488 customer outages. And we're looking at Bossier Parish right now. We have about, the number has increased. So we have 5,646 reported outages right now in Bossier Parish. And CJ, we've been experiencing this severe weather. I came in and it looked completely different. So kind of just explain what can we see across the rest of this evening?
Across the rest of this evening, we can expect these storms to continue to move south and eastward across the area, bringing once again that damaging wind threat and the possibility for a few flooding concerns, as well as the heavy rain, as you may have saw as it passed through the region. The wind gust has been getting up to 70 miles per hour across the area, but I will toss this right back to Matt Jones with the latest updates on what we can expect for the rest of our evening. Matt?
Yeah, thank you so much, CJ. And I'm glad you brought up the point of the flooding, because I really haven't even touched on that. In addition to the tornado threats and the potential hail and the damaging winds that we're seeing, flash flooding is going to be a big concern because these are slow moving. The ones that are moving through now are fast moving, but the storms that we're expecting to develop throughout the night are going to slow down. And so that certainly could cause some flooding concerns as well. So again, we're still monitoring those 2 tornado warnings. Let me take the radar off here and show you the actual warnings that we're talking about. And so there's 2 warnings here. There's one into southwestern Arkansas, Lafayette County there, and the southwestern portions of Columbia County in southwest Arkansas. But also notice what's happening down towards Nacogdoches. Don't want to forget about you folks either, because we do have a tornado warning there in Nacogdoches for that other storm. So let's just zoom in a little bit closer to that one. And let's pull up our normal radar so you can kind of see what's going on. Let's see. Okay. So again, that's the storm that the National Weather Service is warning for, that potential tornado down there in Nacogdoches County. Looks kind of messy on the radar right now, but it's certainly something worth watching. We're going to keep a very close eye on that. Just looking at the radar picture itself, I don't really see any strong rotation, but let me just go back to the velocity once again and see if we do have any sort of, and it's tough. These storms are kind of far away from some of our radar sites, so it's really tough to really make it out, but you can kind of see some broad rotation right there. Another product we can use is actually called the correlation coefficient, and so what that does, now Doppler radar is pretty amazing. It can look inside these storms and see all kinds of stuff, and so it can point out, the wind direction, how strong the winds are in the storm. It can also differentiate between raindrops and hailstones and pieces of debris flying around in a thunderstorm. So we often talk about the correlation coefficient. And basically what that is it shows debris in a thunderstorm. So if that is showing up on the correlation coefficient, that is a good indication that there actually is a tornado doing damage. When we look at that, though, we don't see anything. So what you look for with our debris tracker, what you want to look for is maybe an area of blue. So any sort of blue dropout on the radar would indicate the potential that a tornado is doing damage. The reds and all these yellows that you see here, I know it looks confusing, but this is just all rain. The radar is showing rain. Now, if there was a tornado here, you would see like a a dot, like a bullseye here of a blue color. So that would indicate that there's debris or some sort of something being lofted up into the atmosphere. But we are not seeing that right now. And so that's always a good sign. That's an indication to me that there's nothing actually causing damage right now in this area. But again, National Weather Service is going to keep this warning in effect for now. It looks like we're getting some reports out of Rusk County in Texas. 100 calls have come in for trees and utility issues, okay, near the town of Henderson. So, yeah, so that's what's going on in Rusk County. So again, this is a widespread thing happening all across the Arklatex. But this particular storm, though, near Nacogdoches, we've been kind of zooming into this one because this actually does have a tornado warning on it. And let's time this out for you. Let me change the speed on here because these storms are continuously changing their speed on us as well. So let's just zoom out a little bit, and you can see this is the storm that is concerning us right now. And as that moves off to the north and east, places in the path, Garrison probably around 8:13, Center, Texas around 8:36, Shelbyville 8:44, and Logansport maybe around 9 p.m. We'll see if this holds together. Of course, that's Louisiana state line. So if it holds together, maybe impacting Logansport, maybe impacting places in far western Louisiana. Again, this is for that tornado warned storm in Nacogdoches County in southwest Texas. Again, there's a lot going on. We got a couple of tornado warnings at different areas of the Arklatex right now. So let's kind of clear that out for you and show you again, this is the storm that the National Weather Service is watching. And if there is going to be a circulation, it would be very, very close to Nacogdoches. So let's look at that velocity once again. And I just don't see anything that's really, and there could be, yeah, there's something going on right here. So you can see where the greens and the reds are kind of loosely organized. If it was a strong tornado, what you'd see is a very definitive couplet. You'd see the red, bright reds and bright greens right next to each other. This looks like more of a broad circulation, at least to me. So, you know, odds are they might be canceling this warning early or maybe let it expire here in a few minutes. And as soon as I feel like this threat has ended, we're going to send you back to our normal programming. But until I feel like this threat, you know, has diminished, we're going to stick with you for now. So just bear with us a little bit longer here. Let's take a look at the radar picture again. So that's that tornado warned storm down around Nacogdoches. And then we take you up this whole line of storms. You can see Shreveport, we are now in the clear, at least as severe weather. So we're still getting some light rain, lighter rains around Shreveport up towards Benton, still heavier rain along and south of I-20. But the worst of the storm is now well east of downtown Shreveport. So hopefully this is it for the night. I mean, hopefully this stabilizes our atmosphere and this will be it for the evening. I have my doubts on this though. And I tell you what, forecast models have not done a great job with the storms this evening. They were indicating that this line would come through much later into the overnight hours, but here we are at about 8 p.m. and is already moving into the region. So hopefully because this has come in so early this evening, that means that this will not last as late into the night, but we can't make any promises on that. Okay, so still they're keeping that tornado warning in effect, I believe, for southwestern Arkansas, and that's going to be near the Spring Hill area and Walker Creek. So if you're familiar with this region, into Lafayette County in southern portions of Arkansas, I believe this is where we still have that tornado warning. Let's take a look at our velocity. And what I am seeing here on our velocity is the fact that, let's see here. It looks as though there might be some sort of a circulation, but it actually looks to me more like it could be high winds. Now, if there is any sort of circulation, it's a broad one. You see some of the greens here, some of the reds, maybe something going on between Bradley and Walker Creek. There could be something north along Highway 29 there, some sort of circulation potential. But as I'm seeing right now, it looks like more of a high wind threat. So if you're near Walker Creek or north of Spring Hill into southwestern portions of Columbia County in Arkansas, that could be some very high wind. Let's see if we can pull up those wind velocities. And our Doppler radar definitely indicating the potential for, 60 to 75 mile an hour wind gusts within that particular line. So again, Doppler radar showing maybe some 75 mile an hour gusts. However, you have to remember, these Doppler estimates, they are taken a couple hundred feet up, so it's not right at the ground. So translated down to the surface, we're probably talking 60, 65 mile an hour winds in this area. And let me just see what else we got as far as these warnings are concerned. I'm going to go back to the radar one second. And here is the normal radar picture. So again, dangerous line of storms. And this is definitely moving into southwest Arkansas, Columbia County, Arkansas, and still impacting the northern portions here of Webster Parish. So this is now moving through much of Webster Parish towards Minden as well. It looks like the National Weather Service in Shreveport is issuing a severe thunderstorm warning now for Bienville, Bossier. So it's that big warning. So actually what I'm going to do is take the radar off here in just a second. Let's look at the velocity one more time and see if I don't want to miss anything here. Yeah, I don't really see any evidence of any strong circulation along that line. The only circulation that I really see right now is up in southwest Arkansas, so Lafayette County here, and also moving into Columbia County, there could be some broad circulation. Let's zoom out again and show you the wide picture of our radar. And let's do a bit of a longer radar. Let's do a 3-hour radar loop. This kind of gives you a really good idea of what happened this afternoon. We had some big storms firing up earlier this afternoon in East Texas. Those were tornadic. We actually had some reported tornadoes there. And then notice as we move along, it turned in from more of those individual storm cells into this Boeing line segment that blasted its way through Shreveport and Bossier. And again, there was a tornado warning at one point near the Shreveport Regional Airport there. And then we also had another tornado warning in southwest Arkansas. You can see how this whole line is just bowing forward now, so some strong winds along the leading edge of that. Moving into Webster Parish, and this will be moving into Claiborne Parish as well, and then this trails off to the south and west, so we're getting some strong storms down around Nacogdoches as well. It looks like the storm in Nacogdoches County will expire. They're going to replace that with a severe thunderstorm warning, so it looks as though right now that this threat is starting to come to an end, at least temporarily, but you saw what happened last time, went back to normal programming, and we had to jump right back on. So let's take off the radar picture and show you our current warnings right now. And so look at how large that that's the new severe thunderstorm warning that the National Weather Service has just now issued, and you can see just how large that warning is. That covers up pretty much the entire northeastern portions of the Arklatex. So pretty much Shreveport, you're in the clear. Shreveport, Bossier City, and even all of Caddo Parish, you are now in the clear. Webster Parish, you're getting hammered right now, and this is going to move into Claiborne Parish as well. And really all along that I-20 corridor out towards Ruston as well. And this actually extends all the way beyond our viewing area. We still have that tornado warning there. And let me see here. Just want to see when some of these warnings expire.
8:15.
8:15 on that one? Mm-hmm. Cool, thank you, appreciate that. So again, we got that warning in Nacogdoches County till 8:15, and then that one till about 8 o'clock. And so it looks as though things are starting to wind down, at least temporarily. So what I'm going to do is going to leave you with this picture of the radar one more time, and we are going to send this back to a normal programming again here in just a second. But again, it's our job. We've got to keep you safe. So if there's another tornado warning issue tonight, we're going to go ahead and jump on in once again. But stick with us. CJ Cartledge is here with me, and Austin Evans, he'll come in earlier than usual in the morning to keep us updated on all of this. For now, though, leaving you with this picture of the radar and the radar loop showing this intense line of storms pushing across the Arklatex. We'll have more updates for you throughout the evening.